Today's toy spot, we're going to be looking at the DC Universe Wave 9. This is figure 7, and today we're looking at Green Arrow. If you've been following my reviews, is the very last figure in DC Universe Wave 9. He sadly doesn't come with any accessories for camo. The only thing he does come with is a figure stand. But it's fitting that it ends up working out that the last figure I review is probably the best figure, bar none, in this entire wave. As you can see, there's a picture of Green Arrow down at the bottom corner there. On the back, the other figures in this wave, we've got Wildcat, we've got Deadshot, Guardian, we've got Black Canary, Mantis, Black Adam, and finally we've got Green Arrow. If you collect all 6 of the figures, not really necessarily needing Green Arrow, you can build yourselves the very impressive camo. And the read-up for Green Arrow says, after falling overboard during a South Seas cruise, Oliver Queen washed up on a desolate island. Facing starvation, Queen fashioned a bow and arrows to hunt game and become an ace archer. After his rescue, Queen attended a costume party in Robin Hood regalia and foiled a robbery using his hard-won archery skills. Thrilled by the experience, Queen decided to continue fighting for the innocent and downtrodden as the Emerald Archer known as Green Arrow. Statistics for Green Arrow. First appearance, More Fun Comics number 73, November 1941. Real name Oliver Queen. Occupation hero. Base of operations Star City. Special abilities, an expert archer wielding a variety of trick arrows. I don't know why I had a tough time saying that. And formidable hand-to-hand combatant. Boom, there we go. That's packaging on Green Arrow. Let's not wait any longer. Let's get this guy opened up. I am excited. And what we'll do, we'll have a better look at Green Arrow. So don't go anywhere, guys. Stay tuned. I believe Natalie Cole said it best when she said she's gone and saved the best for last. Because really, that's what I've done. I've saved the best figure for last. Green Arrow is, well, he's quite frankly, he's spectacular. In the way of his accessories, well, at least in the way of his collect and connect piece, as I mentioned earlier, he doesn't actually come with a collect and connect piece for camo. Instead, he does come with a figure stand. And not really much to say about the stand. I guess really, some could say, well, why they always include stands? I really don't have too much of an issue with stands when you have already included all the pieces for the collect and connect figure, and you want to release other figures too. I have zero problem with including a figure stand because, there are a lot of figures. And I know for the figures I own, there's a lot of figures that don't want to stand well on their own. So this is a great opportunity to get an official DC Universe stand, especially some of the females I find do not want to stand. So I could use this for Black Canary or really I could use it for Green Arrow here as well, being that they all have the peg holes on their feet. There usually is some controversy that a lot of people feel these are stands for, not a lot of people, but there are some that feel that these stands are for collect and connect pieces, being that if you look at the package always says, include see back to reveal figure, and it shows a picture of figure stand along with the same figure that they use to illustrate which piece of the collect and connect figure that you get. I guess they want to reuse the same image, but really it is misleading because looking at this image, one would think that it's the figure stand for the collect and connect, when ideally and realistically it just would not work for camo, because first of all, camo has no holes or no peg holes under his feet. Certainly also the size of it. There's no way you could get him on a stand. You might need maybe 2, but there you go. So I like the fact that they come with stands. You can certainly buy stands on their own, but if you're going to get them free with figures, hey, why not, eh? The other accessories that Green Arrow come with, and I'll get these out of the way first because I want to really focus a lot of attention on the figure afterwards. He does come with his bow and arrow, which, if you've watched many reviews, there is a lot of negativity, I think, towards the fact that the bow and arrow are attached. You can't actually take this arrow out. I can see why they wanted to do it. The thing is, with especially plastic and very thin plastic in the strap of the bow, had they not included the bow or the arrow itself, what you ended up would have happened with the, I said that wrong, but what you would have happened is the fact that this strap would have been extremely flimsy had there been nothing in the middle to keep it together. Had this arrow not been here, this strap probably could have easily snapped right off or snapped in two. Now the alternative, if you don't necessarily like this bow and arrow and you don't like the fact that the arrow is attached, you can always go with the DC Direct Green Arrow that does have a bow and arrow separate. And you can always include the bow and arrow from that figure with this guy here. So I can see where they're going. I can see why they would have included the arrow just for how fragile this bow would have been. So I'm not going to crap on them as much as I think other people have. I'm just going to say it's a shame that he has it like that, but again, I could see why. The one thing I will crap on, if there is going to be any crapping going on in this review, he's got these really cool really cool arrows, and I'll go through them individually. One of them, as you can see, is the punching bag, very iconic to the comics and cartoon. Would have been nice if it was green, but it's still nice. I like it. He does come with, I think you can see it, I don't know, but he comes with a bow with a timer on it, so it looks like it's a explosive arrow. He does come with what looks to be a bolo arrow, so this would fire and it would detach, and this bolo snare would be able to, say, wrap around a criminal's leg. So you do get that. And finally, if you have seen the bow, you actually would get the exact same arrow, if I can hold it up there, the exact same arrow as the one that's attached to the bow. So would have been nice, a little bit different, something a little more different than what would have been on the bow. But you know what? Still, at the end of the day, it's still an arrow and it's loose, so I don't mind it. The one thing I really will crap on, if there is going to be crapping, is the actual back where he can store his arrows. The downside, though, is the fact that he gets all these really, really cool arrows, but he has no place to hold them. He has no place. Why they couldn't have just had this open, maybe had arrows at the side, arrow at the side, a row of arrows in the back, and a row of arrows in the front, and then in the middle had this hollow where you could actually slide the arrows in, and maybe even had them where they stuck out a little bit more than the others so you could easily pull them out. Why they couldn't have done that, I really don't know, because as cool as these arrows are, there is absolutely no place on poor Green Arrow to hold these arrows. So really, that's the only gripe I'm going to have with the figure is that one thing. I'm more than happy to accept the fact that he doesn't come with his it doesn't come with a bow that is without its arrow. I can accept that. I just wish that for the sake of it, they could have at least given him a area or a section where you could actually have housed the arrows. That's the only gripe I have with the figure. For those who say, well, I really don't like the arrow, at least the fact with the bow, they've sculpted his hand that you can actually attach the arrow in between his fingers, so it does look like he is going to draw the bow. Unfortunately, that means, though, you can also have him holding his arrows in hand, but why would he hold an arrow in his bow and have a separate arrow ready? Really doesn't make much sense, does it? Alright, so doom and gloom out of the way. We've looked at the parts of the figure I don't really like and I wish they could have changed. Now let's look at the figure itself, because this figure is fantastic. This is one of the best, if not the best, DC Universe figure they have ever made. Wow, that's a bold statement, I know. But between the sculpt, the face is dead on to that of Green Arrow. The chin beard, you know, the feather in his cap, the sculpt on the face, the coloring in his suit. Everything on this figure is perfect. It is perfect. And I've reviewed DC Universe figures in the past, and there's some figures that I like more than others, but really this guy takes the cake for me. In the way of his articulation, he has the articulated head. He has the ball jointed shoulders with the swivel in the bicep. You can bend at the elbow, rotate at the fingers. You can mid-torso, there's a crunch in the mid-torso area. You can rotate at the waist. The legs can bend in and out, back and forth, rotate at the thigh, bend at the knee, and bend at the foot. Luckily, with all the articulation that he has, despite the fact that the DC Direct has, I think, the better bow and arrow, this figure will allow you to, articulation-wise, this figure will let you put him in so many different poses. You can have him ready to draw his bow. Like I said, you can have him standing there just with his arrows ready intact. You can have him reaching behind, pulling out an arrow if you want. But a great figure. And somebody has asked me in the past, a couple of people have actually asked, what are my favorite DC Universe figures? Well, if you've watched my review of the Wildcat, you know Wildcat is up on my list. I would say right near the top, maybe second or third, I'd put this guy right here. This figure defines, I think, DC Universe. I think he is a great figure. And for that reason, I'm going to give Green Arrow here a 9.5. He is so close to being a 10. Had he really had the place for the arrows, and maybe something different with the bow, I would have given him a 10. But he's so close up there, I'm going to give him 9.5. But that concludes my spots on the DC Universe Wave 9 figures. The only thing that's left to do is what we're going to do is we're going to look at the camo. He's coming up next. We're going to be looking at camo, as well as I'm going to give my thoughts just on the overall wave of DC Universe Wave 9. But in the meantime, I'll wrap this video up here, and I'll see you guys next time.